So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So yes, I'm still using a knife because I am trying to peel off this coffee because oh god, it has been taking me forever. And yes, I'm still doing the moringa thing. It has been so much work because I have so much and I am so behind. I am going crazy about it. And anyway, so having said that, then grab your coffee, and if you wanted to take a look at any of the books that I have written, they are in Gumroad. Links for that down below. And thank you so much for your support and your comments and for everything. And I had a request a long time ago, so this is an overdue requested video, but yes, there is a reason why I haven't done it, and the reason is that I am not going to do it like the way that everybody expects it to happen. Yes, I know it's me, so bear with me. Please, patience. And it's about money tips and recipes that are cheap and things like that. And then I am looking at it like, okay, so number one, I am not the one who cooks in my house. The one that cooks in my house is my mom. If I were to cook in my house, I will probably go bankrupt in less than a month. Reason being, I cook completely different than my mom. However, I do have a lot of tips that will very likely save you money in the long term, and they will also help you in the long term. And it's a different type of mindset, and so bear with me. I created something that didn't exist. Yeah, I know it's me, so bear with me. I'm from Jupiter, okay? I'm not a Venusian like most women are, and so no. And so I created something called Kitchen Agenda. Now, in the Kitchen Agenda, you will see a lot of data and a lot of fill-up forms and things like this that you are supposed to either talk to with your family or share with, especially your grandmother or your mother, and is like a traditional thing. This is mostly from a female perspective, but it is supposed to be also from the male perspective, and so it's different because your grandpa was also involved in the kitchen, but he was different, and so there are certain kitchen roles that people will take, and also not everybody likes being in the kitchen, and also some people, honest to God, if you put them in the kitchen, the house will be on fire just because they enter in the room. And so, no. There are people that it's like you give them a knife and they are going to try to use it like this, like if it was a hammer. So I have seen it happen. So don't mention it. But anyway, yes, there are people like that. Reason being is that they have never stepped into a kitchen. And right now, modern times means that most things go kind of like buy it, put it in the microwave, eat it, that's it. And so it's convenient. Now, every time that something is convenient, it's expensive. It's time saving, yes. But it is also less nutrition, and it's a problem when it comes to raising your kids with that type of things and all kinds of problems. So, having said that, then how are you supposed to manage your budget? Now, here's the thing. I have told you before, I don't know, I think like 50 videos or something like this about food, because food is not about food. And cooking is not about cooking. And the kitchen is not about the kitchen. And so at this point, if you have a budget for your entire house, your husband works or you work, and you only get $1,000, and you need to use it properly, then I have a tiny question. What happens if you didn't know that you needed special sponges to clean up your Teflon the pan now, or your Teflon devices, and now they are broken and they will stick everything, and basically now they're useless because you didn't know that you require a special type of sponge to clean those things. Replacing those things that you just damaged by accident is going to cost you money. So out of your budget of 1,000, now you have less because you gotta replace those items again. So at this point, you should have sit down with your grandma and ask a lot of things. And that is why I created the kitchen agenda. Because you're supposed to know before you even start types of materials for the pans and the cauldrons and all of those things. Reason being, okay, so you are short on propane or wood or basically any type of fuel that you're using, and you picked the one that is iron or whatever it is, or whatever that you have, and now you spent all the fuel, which cost you a lot, and the food is not ready yet. So the fuel is extremely important to understand because it costs you a lot of money. And during hard times, I'm telling you, you're not getting propane. I'm telling you, I didn't get propane for one time. There was 13 months in which I didn't get propane. Even if you paid for it, even if you, oh my God, and there were so many freaking accidents with people doing all kinds of crazy things with the propane canisters and oh my God, oh hell no. So honest to God, propane is one of those nightmare topics. And so it will give you a headache if the propane that you used to have that you didn't care about, now instead of lasting you 2 months, you have to make it last at least 3 months, because otherwise the government, the company, whatever it is, they have decided that they will give you that thing only once every 3 months. They're going to ration it every 3 months. So it used to last you 2 months, but now you need to make it 3, and so now fuel matters. So you need to know the materials of the things that you're using. Why? Some of them will go faster, meaning you can do the cooking in 5 minutes. Others are meant to go slowly, and therefore cooking the same thing will take you 15 minutes. 15 versus 5. Fuel consumption. And some of them will require more oil or fatty or lubricants than others. And some will be more difficult to clean than others. Now, if they are more difficult to clean, this means that you're going to be washing, using more dishwasher, using more water. Now, if you are cleaning, as in doing the dishes with buckets, like I have been doing a lot, and not through the pipe, then I can tell you right now that every single drop of water that you can save, oh crap, it's going to be, less buckets that you need to go out and carry to come back. And so, oh hell. And the cost of cooking is going to be into the hundreds if you add up the cost increase on the propane, on the cleaning supplies, on the water bill, on the electricity bill, on the services, and whatever it is. If you had or have dishwashing machine, get it out. You're not using that anymore. Reason being, well, the dishwashing machine requires a special type of soap that does not create bubbles, because that machine works with pressure and it works with space and things like that, and they are not meant to be bubbling. Therefore, a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to use a machine with any kind of dishwasher, and then you now have the entire house, like if it was a movie, showing bubbles everywhere, and you're thinking, what the hell? And you're thinking, I hope that the house is self-cleaning, and it will self-clean alone, and then, I'm just going to go back to to the mall, go shopping, and then come back, and I'm hoping that this mess is also cleaned up by their own house, by the house itself, and kind of like that. And so there will be people that will be kind of like use any type of dishwasher detergent, and it's not going to work. It's going to damage the whole thing. It's going to create a mess. And then there are other expenses in relation to that, which means that you will be spending more detergent that you probably need. And when you are doing the dishes, you are also spending 9 out of 10 times, you are overspending the dishwashing detergent, even if you do it by hand. So when you do it by hand, a lot of people go with the dishwasher, and it's not like that. To the point in which I looked it up, and there are a lot of websites that will tell you that if you want to start saving money, rather than saving on the food, save on the detergents and save on other things that you are overdoing it. Because if you can save money on the fuel, you can save money on the detergents, you can save money on the water bill, you can save money on the electricity bill, and you can save money on other stuff just by knowing you're not supposed to be using that pan but the other one. Not that size but the other one. Not this but that. Then and in the websites that I checked about the dishwashing thing, because I did a video on doing I have done videos on doing laundry, and I have done videos on doing the washing of the dishes. And I have mentioned that according to some studies and manufacturing things, they say that use a few drops of the dishwashing liquid, it can make the job done. Now, if you need a few drops but you're using the whole pouring thing, you are now also overspending water, because now you need more water to rinse it. And on top of that, the dishes might be dirtier because now they have more soap that they are supposed to have, which can create a problem, because now the flavor of the food that you have in that will be affected because it is soapy, even though that you don't see it. But there are people that can smell it. And I know. There are people that can smell it, especially if you add, if you're cleaning eggs and things like this. Oh my God, don't get me started on those. There are people that are more sensitive than others. And if your family is that type, or you are that type, oh my God. So honest to God, just check those topics. And then research the brands that you have or you currently, get, and ask the manufacturer how much per liter or per milliliter or whatever it is, the measurement that you are using, should you be using, blah, blah, blah. And then they will probably have an estimate. You also need to know whether you're using cream or liquid, or if you are using other types of detergent, because they are not the same. If you are using the wrong type, you will be using more water. If you are using the wrong type of detergent, you will be also screwing things up in terms of eating soap whenever you are eating and cooking and cleaning and all of those things. So yeah, it's a serious topic, and yes, it's costing you a lot of money, because if one package of detergent is lasting you right now 1 month, but you're overdoing it, and now that thing can last you 5 months, Also, during hard times, you are not finding detergents, and especially certain brands. Oh my God, there are certain brands that you will have to look under the shelves, like where people hide things, either in the top shelves that you have to be like 7 feet tall to grab them, or the ones that are in the bottom that are behind the whole thing and you don't even see. Well, that is where people will hide the detergents. And so, yeah, you're going to have to be bending and and do it. And that is if you are lucky that somebody trying to find it, and you're playing hide and seek with this thing. So finding certain brands of detergents and things like this is going to go insane. Also, during hard times, people that transport these things, they know that these liquids and these materials are so good that they will be making shortcuts, and this is going to be like the norm. Okay, so you're in the factory, they fill up the entire truck so that they can go into the place where they are going to put it into dispensers that are smaller, the one that you get. But the truck, rather than going from A to B, it goes A to another undisclosed location. Then they take down maybe 10-20% of the liquid, and then they add water into that. And then when you get to the B point, basically you got the same weight, which is the important part, but the concentration of the detergent is less. And so people won't notice, and there is very little people that will go and check for the quality, because you're assuming that the truck it went to the factory and now it's here, is done. But it actually is basically not counterfeited, because it's the same thing, but it has been altered. And so understand that that can also happen when you are dealing with detergents and things like this. And so if you're expecting certain quality to be exactly the same as before, it's not the manufacturer's fault. It's going to be a problem whether somebody made a different route, or if the driver is clean and they are keeping 100% of the product where it is supposed to be headed. And so, but it's going to happen a lot. And so is a thing about detergents. And so the detergents, like I said, it's important that you understand whether you want creamy or a special liquid or other presentations, and you want to know why those presentations. And also, the dishwashing detergent is not the only thing that you need to use when you're going to clean certain things. You need a degreaser, and you can have chemical options, or you can have natural options like vinegars and lemon and others. You also may want to have things to remove odors from the kitchen, and then that is also going to be an issue if you are going to be spending a lot of money on those. And so at this point, you need to know the alternatives that are cheaper and faster and probably natural ways to do it. And also, when you are cooking and when you are dealing with a kitchen, you will have a lot of pets, not pets, pest, as in st, as in ants, cockroaches, and all kinds of things, flies, and all kinds of things that are attracted because of the smell or because of whatever reason. And so at this point, you want to know how you can prevent that from happening by using the cheapest way possible. And in order for you to do this thing, you might want to, like I said, I have the kitchen agenda, which will give you like a layout. You have to research this, and then you write down whatever it is that you, because it will be different for each country, and it will be different for um, each household, because maybe you are in an apartment, maybe you are in a house, maybe you are in a farm, and therefore the needs are going to be different, and I cannot make it universal. I can only give you the guide, as in, do this, do that, and this is it, and that's not it, and then, and you want to understand temperatures in order for you to understand the fuel consumption, because fuel consumption is going to be your biggest nightmare when it comes to handling the kitchen in hard times. Reason being, I just told you, if the propane company calls you and says, oh, we are not going to deliver every month, we are going to deliver by note once per quarter, and that's it. And if you used to have 3 canisters, I'm sorry, it is 1 canister per household, and it's going to be like that. And when they tell you it's going to be 1 canister per household, but you have 3, see what I mean? So fuel, big problem. How to save on others, like charcoal or other materials for cooking, like wood or whatever it is. The woods are also going to be different, because some of them will provide or will create different type of smoke. And if it is a smoke that will make your entire place dark, you need cleaning. You need filters, which are more expensive, and things like this. And therefore, hell no. Because if you need more cleaning, you need more expensive, and you need more timing, and you need see what I mean? So a lot of people will go, just use that one because we can't find the other one, right? And at this point, you want to understand types of wood for these purposes, to the point in which there is you can smoke things. But for that, citric wood and other stuff like that is best, because the smoke will not create the weird smell, and the wood that is specific for things like that, like smoking the food, is more expensive, like insane expensive. However, what happens if you have that wood in your backyard and you didn't know? And so you want to have like a layout of all of the things that you are supposed to be learning about, because if you're going to make the food horrible because you want to save on the recipes, but your propane bill is going to go up, and you don't care, or you are overusing the detergent, or you don't know that the wood that you're using is different, or you don't know that in your backyard you can use that type of wood which will make you better, and things like this, or you are using the wrong type of materials when it comes to handling. There is copper, there is aluminum, there is iron, there is the Teflon, there is ceramics, there is glass, there is others, and you're like, I could have done it in 2 minutes. Now it's taking me 10 and it's not even done. Oh, and then you're using more water, and then so no, make your life simpler. This one for that one, this one for this one, that one for this one. That's depending upon the heat and depending upon the materials. That's it. And you can have it printed, and then you can check. No, I need it faster. Check. No, I need it less oily. Check. I need it more slowly. I need it to have better. Check. Make your pick, but based upon proper decision making, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to give you the advantage. Because if you have $1,000 for your entire house and you're only going to save on the food, it's like you're in a company and the first choice that you make is fire the people. What the hell? If you have a company and you need to reduce costs, check what is it that is making your company expensive. Is it the water bill? Is it the electricity bill? Is it the bills that we have because you are overusing toilet paper, or you are overusing this, or you are overusing that? I mean, I'm guessing that if you tell people, please bring your own toilet paper to the company, or we all get fired, most people will go, oh, we can bring our own toilet paper, So don't think directly, just cheap recipes. That won't solve the main problems that you have. The main problems that you have are not knowing. And the reason why you don't know is because you don't have the luck of having a grandmother that will teach you and tell you how to freaking do things. My grandmother from my dad's side taught my mom how to do cooking and how to do so many freaking things. It's insane. And I miss her. But she's dead. I can't ask her anymore. But maybe you are lucky because maybe you have a grandparent that is alive. My mom is alive. But I have different ways of doing things, and therefore I have decided to let my mom teach my daughter. Not me. Why not? Because if I teach my daughter, then she will miss the opportunities to learn and to do everything with her grandmother, which she will not have for as long as for as long as me. Why? Because natural law says that grandparents die before your parents. That is, if you're lucky enough to have the law going your way. Because sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes your parents die and then your grandparents are the ones who are raising you. And so when you are cooking and when you are talking about food and saving tips and things like this, your grandmother is going to tell you, don't use that. Don't overspend in the detergent. Don't overspend in the water. Don't use that. Use this one. Don't do that one because it will be in the long term more expensive. It's cheaper now, but it is more expensive. Don't buy that brand. Buy this one. Don't do this. Do that. Don't that. And they will know the local costumes that you do not know. Why? Well, they have been in this place for like 50 years before you. And so they know. You don't. Therefore, who do you ask? Them. And what type of questions do you want to ask? Well, you need a guide. Well, I have the kitchen agenda. You can print it and then you can ask them. Or you can even go online and ask your friends. Because, like I said, it is not... The process is universal, but the selections and the modes are local and they are different. And at this point, you want to understand certain things about the cooking tips and the cooking ways, so that you can also understand how to make people feel more filled despite that they are consuming less food. So how do you do that? Well, you understand that the most consumed food in the entire planet... Okay, so I have a question. If it is the most consumed food in the entire planet, this means that the food has to be nutritious, fast, easy, and cheap. Because otherwise it will not be the most consumed thing ever. Okay? Because if it is going to be it's like you saying that caviar is going to be the food that 99% of the people consume in the entire planet is the other way around. Why? Because it is more expensive. And so, no, hell no. You need to know where are the top 10 that are most common within your own place. If they are the most common thing, it's because they are fast, they are cheap, they are nutritious, they fill up with almost anything, and is on the go. Because most women will go, oh, hell no, I'm not preparing a truffle thing with oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. See what I mean? Because it's the consuming and if I'm not into it, I have to clean the house, I have to go take care of the kids, I have to do this and this and this and that, and you expect me to do something that takes 6 hours to make? See what I mean? So, for doing that, I'm going to tell you right now that the most consumed thing in the entire planet is soup. Soup of what? Soup. Now, there are different types of soups. There is broth, and then there is soup, and then there is... I forgot the names in English, but there is a stew, there is hot pot, there is all kinds of preparations for soup. But basically, the difference is whether you put things into the liquid when they are cooked already and when you are going to throw things in there. So you have a lot of ingredients, but if you put them all together, they're going to be cooked differently, because if you're cooking a meat, it's not going to be ready at the same time that a carrot is, or a potato is, and things like this. So depending upon whether you cook everything separately and then you throw it, or then you mix it, or then you add the seasoning before, or you add the seasoning later, blah blah blah, so they will have different names, and then they will have different types of feeling effect in your body. Because if you cook everything and then you, after it is cooked, now you put the broth in it, is going to have a different effect in your stomach, and therefore you might require less or you might require more to be filled. And now you can add more broth or less broth depending upon what you're doing. And if you put it all together in a blender and you make it like a cream, it's going to be even more filling or less filling depending upon the ingredients. And so at this point, what you want is to understand the different methods of cooking. As in, is it grilling, is it boiling, is it broiling, is it baking, is it steaming, is it semi-raw, is it different, I don't know, is it just you not even cooking it, like just passing water through it, or whatever it is. So I have in the kitchen agenda, I have different methods, and then it even has a temperature of each one, and some of the things that you need in order for you to have this one in the optimal range, and things like this, which will help you understand whether you want to buy more ingredients or less ingredients, or add more water or add less water, and that will help you determine better budgets. Because if you have $50 for an entire meal for this many people, and that is also one of the things that you want to understand. Before, when you wanted to make recipes, people just told you what you buy and how to make it. But that's not how you're supposed to read a recipe. The first thing that you want to read a recipe is how many people does this thing fit? Because if I have a family of 6, but this recipe is for 4 and I already made it, 2 people are going to be left out. And very important, how many portions? Because here's the deal, it's not how many people, it's how many portions and the size. Because if you're talking kids, they probably need be smaller portions. But if you're talking a man, oh hell no, he probably will eat even even for all I know, he will even take the plate and eat it. Especially if he has been working a lot, and so the size of the portion is extremely important. And I am going to tell you right now that in the websites that I have read, a lot of people say that most people that go into the supermarket, they don't know what the hell portion is. Okay, so you buy the ingredients, but you don't even know how many little bowls can you fill with that. And now you are overspending and you're overdoing it, or you are not doing enough, and then everybody gets hungry, and so you accidentally miscalculated. Why? Because you don't know the difference between portions and sizes, and you don't know these things because of how recipes are made. And so if it says it fits 4 people, you need the size of the portion. And so if it says 4 people, okay, for what? For adults or for kids? And also, if you're talking people from Japan, they're probably going to eat this much. If you're talking Latin, this much. If you're talking European, that much. If you're talking, I don't know, other countries, they're probably going to be less or more. They would be like, no, hell no, this is enough. We always joke about these things. It's like the food was extremely cool, but it was the size of a snack. And so if the portion is going to be like that, and it says 4 people with a snack, you know. Yeah, and at this point, that's why you go soup. Just fill it up with soup. Yeah, and so it's one of those topics. And so at this point, you also want to understand that the recipe is supposed to tell you the people, the portions, the size of those portions, and it is supposed to tell you how long. Now, this is separated into two parts. If a recipe doesn't have all of these things that I'm telling you, then don't do it. Or do it when you have time and money to spend, and just because it's a hobby and you don't care. But if you do care and you want to know, then be specific. And time goes like this. Time in which you are preparing, as in, okay, I'm going to be here cutting, mixing, going here, cleaning, doing this and this and this and this. So time of preparation. But time of cooking is different. Time of cooking is how long are you going to have the oven on. In that time, you can go other places. Oh, and if you don't have at least a couple of timers, analogical types, the ones that you turn the knob on and you say half an hour and then you leave, and that thing goes when you're done. If you're thinking you're going to use your cell phone, no, screw that. No, analogic one. That doesn't require batteries, doesn't require anything. It's cheap. I think it's $8. And that is in Amazon. I saw it in $8 in Amazon. And so it's one of the top 10 things that you have to have in your kitchen. Because if the preparation time, it says that it's 20 minutes, and you're thinking, I'm going to take 20 minutes doing thing, but for whatever reason, you are slower than the time that the recipe says because you are cutting, you're thinking that everybody cuts, but you cut. Now, instead of taking 20 minutes, you took 40. And now you are out of the window time for eating, sharing, and all of these things. And the time management is one of the key things that will either break you or make you. Especially when it comes to being in the kitchen. And if you need two things because you are cooking this and you are also doing that, that you are doing the dessert and you're doing that, twice. Okay? Take two. And that way, this thing will not be burnt because you forgot or because you were busy doing something else. Yeah. So, two. No biggie. Just, it's a second. Literally takes 4 freaking seconds. Get the thing, turn it, leave it. Keep going. Keep going. That's it. And if you're thinking, I have to do this preparation in half an hour. It says that 20 minutes, but it is me, so it's probably going to be 30 minutes. So I'm going to do this in 30 minutes. Set the timer. That way, you can take a look at the timer once in a while. Oh God, they have it in 10 minutes already. And that way you can manage better the stress and better everything. Because if you burn the food, another waste. You are wasting money and you're wasting time and you're wasting everything, and then you're going to be more stressed because you don't have a freaking timer. Twice. One for the cooking and the process and everything else, and the other one for whatever it is that you're doing. And that way you can just let your mind go to rest because you're focusing and you are not thinking, oh my God, this is going to be burned. No, don't worry about it. That thing is not going to burn. Why not? Well, because the alarm is going to tell me that thing is going to burn. I have it's like having an assistant that will tell you, hey, stop whatever it is, stop cutting that. Go. This one is going to burn. See? Easy. You have an assistant and you have an easy one that will just scream at you, but you can't call it back. You can't scold it back. So it's a plus because you can scream at the freaking thing and it's not going to be mad at you because you were screaming. And so there are things that you can do that will save you money, and most of them are about knowledge. And this knowledge we were supposed to have, but we don't have it because, like I said, not everybody is lucky. Not everybody is lucky enough. You see, I want my daughter to learn from my mom, her grandmother, and then from me. So I'm going to reinforce whatever it is that my mom forgot or my mom does in one way, and I'm going to teach my daughter another way of doing it. Meaning my daughter will have choices from both my mom and from me, and then from that perspective, she can develop her own. And when she develops her own, now she has 3 freaking ways to do the same thing. That means that she will have choices and options, and that means that she will not depend upon a freaking thing, and she can do it faster and cheaper and easier, which is what you want, right? Because otherwise it will break you. Because a lot of women and people go crazy because they can't follow recipes. They're thinking this is easy, whatever. Yeah, except for the fact that it's not about the being easy. It's about the cost. How much is it cost that it's going to cost you if you don't know how to clean that thing, or if it is spending too much fuel or too much time, or you don't know how many people you're going to feed with that, or you don't like the seasoning and things like this. And at this point, I'm going to tell you right now, there are things that you do want to invest money in, not because it's cheap or whatever, but here's the deal. You want your kids to set the table with you, and you want your kids to eat with you, but you want to have table manners. Because here's what happens. If your kid, especially if he's a man, has a great idea, but now he has a business meeting in which he's supposed to land a job or land this idea or whatever it is, and then they go to a fine restaurant that they have never been into because they eat fast food, cheap food, and they have never eaten fish, or they have never eaten oysters, or weird things that you go kind of like, and the conversation in the table goes, oh, you don't like the food? Or worse, you are using the knife like that. Don't get me started. I swear, I have seen people cooking with a hammer. You know the hammer that you used for the walls and the nails? Yeah, with that. I have seen people cooking with that. So don't get me started on the most weird, insane things that people will do because they have no idea how to make it through the table manners and through the weird things that... So I have seen people who are, I swear, 25 or less, that go with a lemon presser, and they are saying that this is the most ingenious thing because it's a strainer. And they are even happier because they go kind of like, now I can make a lemonade without having to worry about drinking the seed when I am making the lemon juice. Next, you see, when they are in the meeting, the one who is in the other side is going to look at them kind of like, so you want to explain me an idea, but you have no idea that this is a knife and you're supposed to be using it like this and like this, by the way, like that, not like this. So at this point, there are schools that will teach you manners, but if you don't want to go to school, or simply you don't have the money to pay for these things, or other than that, you can use print the layouts on table, and that way it's like you have the two things in front, and you have drinks here and drinks here, and then in the table the party goes like that and drinks, and then the other party goes, you took my drink. What do you mean I took your drink? That's my drink. No, I'm sorry. Your drink is BD. Bread goes this way. Drink go this way. That's your drink. And if you are in a meeting and you have to ask where's your drink or which one is it, now they missed the opportunity to make money because the way that they were eating and cooking and doing everything was a cheap one. But the people who are in businesses, they are not saving in food. I can guarantee you that one. Their chefs, however, might be saving in a lot of things. Might be saving in the fuel, maybe saving in other things. Because that is what chefs are supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to compromise the food or the quality of the food. They are supposed to be compromising in something else. And that is what makes them chefs. And that is why they are professionals. And that's why they study this thing. And so if you want to learn more about recipes, then that's fine. But now you will have a bigger problem because the food, you will have to compromise the food. And if you compromise the food, I don't have to tell you that you're going to have a war in your house immediately. Because who the hell wants to compromise in the food? Especially if it is comfort food. Oh my god, you really want to compromise in the comfort food? Especially with women? With your teen who is a girl? You? Yeah, I can guarantee you that you will. Oh crap! Now you're going to have a more demanding girl than ever, and so no. And do you want to compromise on the food? You can compromise on the cooking method, which can enhance the flavors and reduce the amount of food that you are actually consuming. Or you can enhance by using a different type of fuel. So for example, different types of wood, which will create different type of flavors when you're cooking and things like this. And however, it will take different types of timing, and it will be different in terms of a lot of things. And so you want the kid to be involved into the table setting, and involved into the table manners, and involved into other things. Because if you're going to make a business or a business meeting, and the person in front of you cannot stop being without their cell phone while they are eating, or while they are cooking, or while they are doing anything, you may have a problem. And so that's why you want to have the analogic way of doing things. If you have a timer that it is analogic, it will help you focus without the cell phone. And it's going to be hard for people that do not know what the hell analogic means. But analogic means you are in level 1. Level 0 means you're doing everything with a stone and then throw it away and that's it. You don't even know how to preserve food. But analogic means that you're using tools that do not require electricity. And that means that they will be hands. That means that your coordination with your hands is going to be important. And your coordination with your hands is also going to help you develop a lot of things later on. And you want to develop those things because they are about the brain development, brain patterns, and about a lot of things. However, understand that there is a lot of people that cannot do these things because they have problems with their hands, like arthritis and other things. That means that they require a special type of detergents, a special types of tools, a special types of things. And that is why I told you that these things, the process might be universal, but the conditions are not. And you also want to understand the liquids that you're using or not using when you're eating, because certain liquids will make the food digest slower as in certain liquids, certain things, will slow your metabolism. And if they slow your metabolism, this means that you can eat twice a day rather than 3 times in a day, or rather than 4 times in a day. And at this point, you want to understand whether you want to increase your metabolism, as in make it faster, or if you want to make it slower. Because also, if the food is going to make you fat, all of these things, and then you go, I'm not eating because I'm going to be fat. And now you gotta make 3 types of dishes. One for you, one for your husband, and the other one for the kids. I wonder how much fuel and how many things you are going to be spending or overspending because of the different menus, because you are not in the know of liquids and the importance of liquids. Liquids are actually going to be your best friends or your worst enemy when it comes to saving money and saving your metabolism and even your health. And for that, you want to have the recipes that are local, as in, I will go to a geriatric and then ask women in there, what is your favorite alkaline water type of recipe thing, and they will tell you. Or the tonics that they used to make, because a lot of people used to do their own tonics and they were family recipes that were not given to anyone and things like this. But I'm guessing that, if you are 70 or 80 and somebody asks you, you will be willing to trade that one for the sake of not dying with the recipe, because your own grandkids might not be willing to share it with you, but somebody is. So there is a lot of options in there. However, like I said, what you want to have is like a blueprint, as in, what are the things that I have to know? I have to be in the loop of the money club, and that one is for the housewives, and that one is different. But I do have that in the kitchen again. And there are other things that are related to reading labels, and there are other things that are about following instructions. There are kitchen knives. Not all knives are going to be the same. Not all tools are going to be the same. And so the labels of the tools are also going to be important. Do you want them analogic? Do you want them electronic? Do you want them electrical? Do you want them intelligent? Do you want them to be portable? Or do you want them to be artifacts? Do you want them to be different color, different materials that they are made of? The best thing for grinding is a stone. That one, beyond a doubt, that one is the one that you want. If you're picking this thing for grinding and for doing things by hand, stone. Stone. But however, there are a lot of things that you want to pick properly. So for example, if you want to prepare salads and stuff like this, and you want them to last the entire week, it's going to be extremely expensive, and you are not allowing anybody to touch it. But you might want to buy ceramic knives, because the ceramic, when it touches things, it does not allow for oxidation, and things will last you longer, especially when it comes to fruit and vegetables and things like this. And so if you are worried about a lot of things, and there are other tips that I can share later that are specific, like buying things, but most of them are either in my book about buying things, that I have two books on items to buy, and I go through a process of why. And I don't go buy this thing. I tell you, this is a thing or the situation, and this is how you can buy through it. Buy this and this and this and this and this, and it counts as in one shopping. And so I have those 2 books, and then I have the car agenda, because when you are on the go, as in you're hungry and you don't have the time to cook and all of these things, that's also going to be a problem. then how are you going to handle the leftovers, and how are you going to handle the things that you're supposed to have in your car for handling that type of situations? You're hungry, you're stuck in traffic, you are now 7 hours straight in your car, and you don't have water, you don't have food, blah blah. So have a car agenda for that, because that way you can prepare on the know-hows and on the shopping list that you're supposed to have, so that you can fix things step by step. Not because you want to buy things because they're cool, because they are pretty or whatever. They have to be practical, and they have to be within certain range. Because if you're going to buy something because it is okay and it is needed or whatever it is, but it is going to consume you a lot of time cleaning it, then don't buy it. Do you have 2 hours to clean something daily? Okay, if you make a living on cleaning, that's cool. But honest to God, buy things that are easy to clean, buy things that are easy to maintain, and buy things that are the proper material. That's the most important things. If you buy certain things that are use the wrong materials, they will consume more fuel, and they will consume more soap and more things for cleaning, and they will consume more things on the long run. And if you have to buy these things with a credit card, they are even more expensive, because now you gotta pay interest on the same item. And so there are things that you can do to also have ready-to-go meals that are easy and saving times, and that is buying things when they are about to go bad, especially tomatoes and things like this, because tomatoes you can just freeze them, and the next day you can make a puree, or you can make tomato paste, or you can make a lot of things with the tomatoes that are about to go bad. And when they are about to go bad, the supermarket cannot sell it tomorrow, because tomorrow will be spoiled and therefore nobody will buy it. So today the tomato, instead of being $2, it is 90 cents. So shop properly, learn how to shop properly. And if you have a sale of eggs, then you can learn how to conserve eggs in vinegar. The vinegar is going to be indispensable in any kind of kitchen. I don't care if you're in Russia, in even in the Antarctica. You might want to understand how the hell to make vinegar, because vinegar is one of those things that will allow you to clean, will allow you to get rid of odors, will allow you to preserve food, will allow you to, So watch a video of the top 10 uses for vinegar, because it is a thing, and it's cheap, and it's fast, and you can have different types, and you can make it yourself with the fruits that you have at home. You can make pineapple vinegar, you can make apple vinegar, you can make I have seen pineapple, banana, grape, and I have seen I think the other one, I have seen 4 types of vinegars that I made of fruit. I do not know if there are more. I'm guessing that yes, there are more, but it's also a topic. So anyway, I hope that this video was helpful somehow, and thank you for watching. See you again soon.